Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander. Welcome back to my basement as we are hate watching Outlander Season 6, Episode 7. Surprise, don't be surprised, y'all. Seriously. If last episode had been in a book, which I've been told has been in the book, it would have been a total wall banger. It would have been dirty, nasty swear words against the wall, never been touched again. Like, seriously? Wow, so many just bad. Why? Was it filling in some gap? You had a gap, a hole, you needed to fill it with something. It just, Claire, seriously, somebody you don't want to see or don't want to talk to and you should not be alone with is coming at you, and your defense is to knock yourself unconscious so you're incapacitated and vulnerable to whatever it is they want to do to your body. That was your best course of action? And also, the most she's been able to put anybody to sleep for has been like 3 or 4 minutes, right? So, no sense. No. And okay, and then dead girl. Okay, fine, great. Unless you've got a NICU hidden somewhere in a pocket of that ginormous apron, there was no way you were going to save the fetus baby. No way. Not viable. Even if Malva was as pregnant as she claimed she was, which we think she was a much longer than she was, that baby was not surviving. What? You weren't thinking. You weren't thinking, and I would like my medical professionals to think, please, and thank you. There we go. And I know a lot of y'all said that Ian has slept with plenty of maid, the barmaid in Edinburgh, and of course the Mohawk women can choose, whatever. Here's the thing. Prostitutes, barmaids, what have you in the big city is one thing. The only daughter of the most stern, uber-religious, pretentious man in your teeny tiny community, you don't touch unless you're wed. You don't shit where you eat, and that's the phrase for purpose. No, didn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And what really makes me angry is that instead of that stupidness, we could have had the little delicious morsel that we were teased with, which to me was the highlight of the whole last episode, was Jamie and Roger talking about their meeting with the Sons of Liberty. I wanted more of that. If you take the Frasers out of Scotland because you want them to be a part of these big historical events, fine. Then give me the historical events. I want to see Roger and Jamie and whomever trying to navigate through the revolution, knowing what they know, knowing what they think they know. Because here's the thing. Culloden happened whether they wanted it or not. The Jacobite rebellion failed. As much as they tried to prevent it, it failed. So they may be thinking we're pretty confident the revolution is going to succeed on side of the rebels. What if it doesn't? History's not written yet. I mean, the events were not yet written, and where they're sitting at now. Jamie, I think, was always meant to be at Culloden, but maybe he wasn't meant to be in the American Revolution. Maybe somebody else dies instead, or somebody saved that shouldn't be because he and Roger are not where they're supposed to be. That's the story I wanted to see. I wanted to see all the men in the area bring all their liquor to show off and go, look what I made with my own bare hands from my land. I wanted to see that. Give me more of that, please, and less of stupid dummy head Malva. I think it's her brother. Her brother that got her pregnant, or her brother killed her, or both. Either it was an extortion scheme gone wrong. I'm thinking there was an extortion scheme involved somehow. Malva wanted to take Claire's place. If Tom was in on the plan, he should have known very well that James Fraser, the man who in Ardsmere said the tartan was his to protect his men, knows very well Jamie was never going to leave his wife. So pure extortion, give me money instead. But what does killing Malva accomplish? And I was going to say maybe she was killed on accident, but you don't accidentally slit someone's throat. So either she died first and then they slit her throat to make it look like again, what use is having Claire so the real murderer goes free? I don't know. Again, you mean other stuff, not this. But I'm here because there's only 2 episodes left. So why not finish it before the season 7 start? But thank you so much for being with me. It does make this so much more better knowing that we are all going through it or have gone through it or going through it again together. So I have my beverages. I got the blanket. I have all of you. If you want to have even more torture, I got the full episode watch along that you can sync up and watch the whole thing with me on my Patreon. I would love to see you there. So, okay, y'all. Let's get to it. Oh, we're gonna do it.
I'm standing before you today to tell you that the devil is
Oh,
real.
this is the scene we didn't get where she had to testify.
I lost my innocence. It was stolen.
Now, who is she actually in front of? Only the fisher folk, or is she in front of everybody on the ridge? Because if she's in front of all the people on the ridge who have been there for years, who served with Jamie in the rebellion, who were at Ardsmere, would all know that she's full of shit. Oh.
You didn't see anyone at all?
No.
Doesn't make sense.
So they don't think Claire killed her right away?
Thought I saw Malva coming towards the house. She may have knocked, but...
You didn't answer the door? Why did you go outside then?
Of course not.
Your wife stands before us up to her elbows in blood. I don't think we're implying anything.
I told you.
So wait, so Jamie is the sheriff of this area, essentially, right?
She was already dead. But I had to try and save the baby.
How long would it have taken for her to die?
It would have been quick.
No time to pray for forgiveness, then. A short prayer that would have made her right with God.
I don't think a short prayer would have been enough, Tom.
Can't bury a whore and an illegitimate child beside God-fearing men and women.
We'll see Malva and your wee grandson laid to rest properly.
Have the angels weeping and demons rejoicing that a sinner has been buried in holy ground over my dead body.
No. Over mine. If Malva and the bairn to be buried on my ground at the ridge, it'll be after her funeral.
What are we gonna stand up and say about her, eh?
That Martha Christie was full of life and light.
And was manipulative and devious.
We'll gather at the meeting house in a few days. My son-in-law will meet the service.
Interesting that those she harmed are being the kindest to her in her death. Still hate the storyline, but I find that intriguing. So how much forensic work has Claire been involved in? I don't think you should be alone right now, Claire.
We don't want Jamie coming rushing in here to save you.
'Cause you know something? You can't save you from yourself.
That is true. Either bourbon, the same. I guess, right?
Mr. Crombie is out on the back porch to see you, and he was muttering about wanting to see the dead lass for himself.
No.
There's no need.
Why? Unless Mr. Crombie is the father of the baby?
I knew she was trouble from the first moment I laid eyes on her. You must have seen it too, mistress.
No. I never thought anything.
After that dreadful accusation.
It should have, though, kind of, sort of.
You must have hated her guts.
That's enough.
I don't want anyone else to see me like this.
Then the fast money. I'll speak with Item. Find out where he's come. If you're to make unfounded accusations on my doorstep, you'll Do it in no uncertain terms.
You sinned in the eyes of the Lord. Are we all to suffer on the ridge because you regret marrying a jealous English woman with a sharp tongue and even sharper knives?
You can leave them, Mr. Crombie.
If you value your life, choose your next words wisely, Mr. Crombie.
Yeah, these people are all welcome to leave. Be gone. Be gone.
He just about has to measure you. And he won't be shy about telling his friends. Pure selfish, that's what you are. You took the life of an innocent young girl to protect that husband of yours, didn't you? When you swore to do no harm.
None of this seems like Claire in any capacity. I mean, I think if she was distraught over what had happened with Stupid Head Brown, I don't think she would have these thoughts. She would have other thoughts, but not these ones.
What have you been up to, Lizzie?
Mrs. Bug was looking for you earlier. I'm worried about
I
you.
was just out feeding the horses.
My condolences, Mr. Henderson. It's a terrible time for everyone who knew Miss Christie.
You don't need to offer me your condolences.
I only mean that I know that you were friends, perhaps more.
Now, what are you suggesting? You think I had something to do with this?
Suggested nothing. He was there.
Mr. Mackenzie's no suggesting, asking is all.
Is it true she cut the baby out of Malva's belly before she slit her throat? Or was it the other way around?
I'm glad to have you on the ridge, Mr. Henderson, but...
But what, Mr. Fraser? Are you going to threaten me? Same way you threatened Mr. Crombie?
They got to be a little bit more proactive in this whole thing. And why is Claire being left alone to handle this?
Cannot rule out anyone.
Except Obadiah already knew that I knew about them, so unless someone else disapproved of their relations.
Well, I think we know it wasn't the sin eater. He must have died all alone in his hut.
Sorry to hear that. I hope the Beardsley's helped you bury him decently.
All of his fingers missing.
His finger bones were missing on one of his hands.
I wonder if it has anything to do with that love charm we found.
Circumstantial evidence might point towards it, but proving it beyond reasonable doubt.
Where's Perry Mason when you need him, eh?
I know.
Who's Perry Mason?
He's a lawyer from our time.
I think the question he'd be asking is who would have had the means, motive, and the opportunity.
Me?
Oh.
Why do you even suggest such a thing, sister?
I have this feeling. You know, when you leave the house and you think you've left the oven on. I mean, the candle burning. What if this is the time that you did, and this is the time the house burns down, and I saw Malva coming towards the house. I took some ether, and then I had a lie down.
Put yourself to sleep.
Just a little bit. I didn't want to talk to her.
Again, I made myself completely vulnerable to whatever it was she wanted to do with me.
Then I lost my temper and I threatened her. What if it wasn't a dream? What if I did do it?
He slit her throat and then he dragged her into the garden and went back to bed and went back to sleep.
About who had the means and the motive and the opportunity. I had all three and everyone thinks it's me.
So what if they do? Doesn't matter what they think.
But no matter how this shakes out, Jamie's trust in his people on the ridge is gone. So he cannot count on them when the revolution comes and they have to fight the British soldiers.
It's Lizzie.
She's with child.
Of course she is, because it's going around.
Yours?
No, Uncle.
Then who? Who debauched her? Give me his name.
Their name?
Beardsley.
Which of them was it?
She doesn't know which one is the father.
You mean both of them?
other time of the season. This would be amazing, but not now.
I'll speak to her.
I'll see one of them wed to Lizzie or both Beardsleys dead at our feet.
Oh God, who let this little boy play in the woods by himself?
Jemmy just told me he heard Mr. Bug telling Mrs. Bug that all murdered people turn into ghosts. It's really frightened him.
The old fool.
Shouldn't Bree be farther along in her pregnancy?
And then he asked me if that would stop his granny turning him into a ghost too.
Who said it was Claire?
The fisher folk, apparently.
I swear I hadn't done it before, mistress. I mean, I'd maybe come close the time the malaria came back. My blood running hot and cold. Then the Beardsley lads arrived with my gallbray ointment.
Did the malaria make her unable to have children and she just thinks she's pregnant?
Both of them.
I didn't mean to. I mean, I did, but...
I'm not sure it's possible to engage in sexual relations with two men without meaning to. They fooled you.
No, mistress. Why, you mustn't think that Joe or Casey could do such a thing.
And I think she can tell the two of them apart, no problem.
They're identical everywhere, if you take my meaning. But we were slippery with the ointment and naked under the quilts. It happened.
And kept on happening.
Did it happen? Like she thinks it's supposed to go? Only because sexual education this time period wasn't the best.
If Hiram Crombie, if he found out, he'd stone you for fornication.
Why? There's no harm in anyone.
Exactly.
It's no one's
Exactly.
business but ours.
Exactly.
Mr. Buck? A moment, please.
Ooh.
Jemmy has got it into his head that there are some souls with a lot of unfinished business here on the ridge. If you could be a bit more careful around them, please.
Well, that's life for you. In fact, there's a sow to be slaughtered if you need bacon before Mrs. Bug and I take the whiskey up to River Run. I'd ask you to help, but I didn't want to spoil your lunch.
Mr. Bug, do you want a job? Seriously, people. Seriously.
Probably sounds ridiculous to you, but in the future there are some who are opposed to eating animals altogether.
Aye, Claire told me. Vegetarians. You gonna tell me you joined their ranks?
No. How can I preach to others when...
I can see that you want to take care of them.
Maybe just being able to help. Even by listening and praying. I don't think there's a minister coming. Someone has to do it. I'm thinking it's me.
Minister is there.
I'd have to see about getting ordained.
Yeah. Can't go online and get a certificate, can he? That body has not been in a refrigerator. It must smell to high heaven. You've got to work faster, Claire.
And look at Lizzie. She can't even tell you who the father of her child is. How are you going to make that right, Claire?
By making myself useless to everybody.
You're going to a funeral, Sasai. Not to stand trial.
She's standing trial.
I'm going to meet my prospective jurors. Stand trial in the court of public opinion.
Hmm. So why didn't more people show up for this funeral?
You put that down. They're dead. Because of you.
Alan, you bastards. You took my sister from me.
Yet, Alan, you were perfectly content to have her buried in the woods with no kind words at all. I think it was him. Did he find the boys?
You'll need to be wed. The sooner the better.
to Ian.
Which one of them is it to be then, lass?
I didn't want to choose. I love them both.
She's not thinking this through. Marry one of them. Having your brother, the brother, live with them is not uncommon.
They're one soul in two bodies.
If you care about the fate of that soul, you'll have those two bodies standing before me imminently. Now, where are they?
It better not be the blood, whoever's spilling on that bamboo type thing.
Were we going to do it here in the stables?
Christ was born in a major. Was good enough for him. Since you can't choose amongst yourselves.
Do they not know?
Short straw weds her. Take her hand.
And you're...
Now, do you swear before these witnesses you'll take Elizabeth Weems to be your wife?
I do.
Is the power of North Carolina invested in you, James?
Except Keziah Beardsley. You are Keziah.
I will.
Your hand fast. You'll speak to no one of this. No one must know, you understand me? And you? Bet you leave tomorrow and don't come back until the child is born.
Not the way I would have taken care of this, obviously.
What if I want to make the preaching official? Get the same thrill as I do when I teach, only I feel it stirring something in my soul.
Roger, you were raised by a minister. We both know what it's like to have parents constantly on duty. Called away at all hours.
Oh, that's true. Uh-huh.
We really suffered because of it.
Looks like things turned out all right from where I'm sitting.
Roger.
Whatever I do, it will not be at the price of my family.
You really want this, don't you?
Just think how amazing it would be if I could baptize our child myself. I heard there's a presbytery in Edenton.
Did he get on the Google machine and find that out?
Oh, and I'm Catholic.
If only my father-in-law had reminded me at some point. We'll start packing tomorrow and leave as soon as we can.
They are leaving the ridge.
Why do I get the feeling that you're avoiding me, Mrs. Beardsley?
That's the way to rub that salt in the wound.
Does Josiah really have to go away?
What with everything that's going on the ridge?
I was going to tell you. The day Malva died, I knocked at the door, but it was locked.
You were sure it was that morning?
Aye.
So it was Lizzie at the door. How far did Malva get? You still need evidence.
But I didn't do it.
That doesn't change a damn thing. You think you can get rid of me?
I am so tired that she is letting this mofo have so much control over her. He's not worth it. Mm-mm.
For the first time in my life, I don't recognize myself. It's a part of me, a darkness. I can't bear for you to see me like this. I feel like this is possessing me.
Didn't Claire take any sort of mental health classes in medical school? Even just one or two? Like, I know it was the 60s. Mental health wasn't necessarily a thing. But something post-war. Well, post-war, she was in Scotland in 17-somethings, but something.
I've tried for so long just to compartmentalize everything. But now it's like the floodgates have just
open. It's not just Marva, it's all of it. It's my fault. Because I changed things. Everything since I first came to this time. And it's all because of my selfishness. Because I desperately wanted to be with you.
I want to make a very bad, tasteless joke, and I will later. I'll save it for later.
Do you think Bree feels that way? She wouldn't have been born. What about Roger? Your selfishness has brought so much to so many. Without you, our whole world crumbles into dust. After Wentworth,
Mm-hmm.
you found me in the dark. I let you into my mind. Then I lock me out. Let me join you.
That is true. She did say that to him.
You're gonna sentence yourself to crimes no one is charging you with.
Yet.
If it's a sin that you chose me, then I will go to the devil himself. Bless him for tempting you to it.
That's a way to phrase it. Okay.
You want me to do what? You want me to marry you? You want me to marry you now?
Oh.
To who?
It's me and Joe. If you'd be so kind. Kezzy's come to be witness.
Lizzie, are you in trouble?
With child.
Oh my God, Lizzie, are you happy?
We love each other so very much.
Do it for them. Please.
But please put on some pants first, Roger. Please. Please.
But you can be handfast, I suppose.
Thank you, Mr. Mackenzie.
Just let me put my britches on. I'm not conducting my first wedding bare-arsed.
I didn't have a chance to give this to Lizzie when she and Josiah were handfast. Can you give it to her for me?
What do you mean?
Why'd you marry them last night? Wait, she didn't tell you?
What?
Jamie handfasted Lizzie and Kezzy the other day. Did she really?
God help me, I did.
Certainly as valid as the handfasting I did. I'll have a word with them. All three of them, I swear.
It's an unholy trinity, certainly. What can I say? The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Are they gonna make it to Edenton?
I'll tell them that marriage is a serious undertaking.
That's why I married you in the barn in half a second. By choosing straws.
It was Kezzy first, and Kezzy shall stay wed to. That's all that anyone on the ridge needs to know.
Oh, they have Mrs. Bugs there. Who's here? Who's here? Who's here? It could be either of them. Claire for murder, Jamie for his rebellion against the crown. Are these the Browns?
We've come to arrest her for the murder of Malva Christie.
Yeah, I thought that would come way sooner in this episode. So because of all the stupidness, and I'm gonna keep calling it stupidness with the whole Malva thing, the Kezzy, Joe, Lizzie triad that I love and adored, and the comedicness that could entail, I think is funny, although that time period probably wasn't funny. Anywho, that doesn't, it's fighting against this thing. And then Mayor Claire with her mental health is terrifying and scary and complicated. In the 1700s, even more so because people didn't acknowledge it. And even though Claire is from the 1900s, still a time period where it wasn't really acknowledged. So I know that I wanted to say, snap out of it, Claire. It's not, it's a lot easier said than done. However, this is also fiction. So I'm not liking how it's progressing at all. And I've not been a fan about it this whole season at all. And I know the Malva thing's going to take up more airtime. I do think it would have been a way more interesting twist if this, whoever it was, gang came and they were arresting Jamie for his treasonous whatevers. That would have been a more interesting, what? Because we would think they're coming for Claire. Again, there's no real evidence. It's just motive. They've got motive. They have no murder weapon. Now, could they still find her guilty without a murder weapon and proof? Yes. Because they're men. The whole thing, I just... See, I'm going to leave my thoughts to that. On the whole thing. One more episode to go, y'all, before the season 6 finale, and then I'm all caught up. So please, I would appreciate it if you were there with me, sending me virtual hugs along the way, because it is so much better when we do this together. So please take care of yourselves mentally as well as physically. Don't hide things inside. If you need assistance, go get it from someone. Eat something. Have you drank anything today? This is a reminder to stand up, walk around the house a little bit, and then come back into the next video in the queue. So thanks again, y'all, and until next time.